Mr. Chinatown Manila 5, Mr. Tyrone Tan, up here on stage, where he will share what is a modern Nana. So his talk naman will be about how we can be a modern Nana on our day-to-day lives and how we can apply and try to be a modern Nana individually in our own ways. So yun po, no, after both of them present their slides, we will have them here to do a Q&A. So if you'd like to ask either of them questions or both of them, feel free to come up to the mic and state your questions. So let's give a big round of applause to Leng, Engineer Lilibet Layani.
So, hi everyone, good afternoon, Ake Hoge po. Again, I'm Engineer Lilibet Layani Yu. I'm an alumni of Davao Christian High School and Ateneo de Davao University. And let's not announce the one batch. So, it's been a while since I had a talk like this. So recently it's been race fields and weightlifting floors for me. Kaya medyo ginabahan ako when Lord invited me to speak in this event. So I immediately took the challenge, but in my mind, I was like, I'd rather suffer for 20 minutes in a workout than speech rant na panood here. Pero here we are. So I really want to make this talk as light and as relatable as possible. So it's more of my personal experience and how being Landa has influenced me in my life decisions. So currently, as Katsili mentioned, I'm managing my own business and I'm having a full-time job at night na USD. So in my free time, I do CrossFit, high rocks, and running. But never in a million years did I imagine that I would be in this situation. So let me take you guys back to where it all started. Next slide. So, next slide again. So this is my toddler era. That's me with my dad. So since birth, actually, nafe-feel ko na God has listed me in one of His strongest soldiers. So kung nakikita niyo yung meme na yan, no, I think that's the reason why my parents also named me Shibula. So my mom actually gave birth to me at the age of 14. And normal delivery, so sabi nga nila pag ganyang menopausal stage, either you come out abnormal or smart. So I came out, I don't try. So thank God, I think naman abnormal. So both her and my dad actually experienced like extreme family warfare. So ang hirap, we migrated from Manila in 1998 and they only had 20,000 when they came to Davao. So walang generational wealth, no support, no family members, nothing. So next slide, came preschool era. So due to my dad's hard work as well, I was able to enroll in Davao Christian High School because of scholarship grants. So he keep applying for scholarship grants and thankfully naka-enroll ako sa Davao Christian. Next slide. So, oh my gosh, okay, oh my gosh. So, elementary years, it wasn't easy as well kasi what do you call this, the requirement in order to become 100% scholar in Davao Christian was you have to be top 1 in your batch. So I had to maintain really high grade and brought up kinakamuhan ko alanganin yung grades ko because we wouldn't be able to afford the tuition there. And I think, I'm not sure if there are students here, pero it's a controversial issue, but during our time, no, if you weren't as influential or rich, makaka-experience ka talaga ng favoritism. So I experienced yung favoritism and yung binubully. So may times na every morning I would cry with my mom na ayoko nang pumasok kasi natatakot ako sa mga teachers namin. But that's when I realized that we may not be about that in those aspects, like the financial aspect, but I'm very blessed and rich in having the best parents. So because of them, yun nga, nakapag-aral ako sa magandang school. And next time, come high school, medyo mukhang tao na. So, come high school, it's also pretty challenging because two new valedictorians came to Davao Christian. So, kinabahan ako kasi I know that both of them are really smart, really talented as well. But it's during this time where I finally learned to enjoy school, no? Parang hindi na always competition, I learned to live life more. And you wouldn't believe ang difference ng personality ko from elementary and high school. So, medyo ano na, open up na ako to people. And then, next slide. So, when I was in college, my dream job actually was to become a flight attendant. So, however, you may wonder, bakit malayo kung course na kinuha ko? So, I'm an electronics and communications engineer. So, syempre, pag flight attendant, usually, vocational courses is okay. At the age of 18, you can apply already, and then you can take up the recess. So, courses like that. But my parents being 100% Asian and Chinese, so this is where Big Landang comes in. They were saying, my peers were saying, nasayang naman, kasi matalino ka, valedictorian ka, you should take up a course that relates to math or something that is hard, yung word is sa capabilities mo. So, I took up the first exams for all four schools sa Manila, which is ADMU, LaSalle, UP, UST. And thank God again, I was able to get scholarship offers. But at the end of the day, my mom didn't allow me to go there kasi being an Asian parent again, she's very overprotective, baka daw maging party girl. So, I ended up studying in Ateneo de Davao University as an electronics and communications engineering student. So, at first, saya pa rin ako kahit hindi ako kahit Manila because naisip ko nga ay communication. So mas yung more I apply in being an attendant. But when third year college came, so doon na naglabasan yung major subject. So I found out that electronics and communications was about satellites, antennas, and circuits. Hindi ko lang kami mag-report sa TV. So it's too late to shift now. So I finished my course, and then in my mind, there's no time to lose because my parents were not that young anymore. And there's this constant pressure no, na you always have to do your best because given that I'm an only child, ikaw na lang din yung inaasahan nila. And again, we're not born with a silver spoon. So during my college days, I think one of the toughest experiences I also went through was when I ran for president in our school. Binalayas ako sa bahay namin because my mom is against extracurricular activities. So she wants me na focus lang sa academics. So there's this one day na after meeting namin sa student council, pag-uwi ko, nasa labas na yung paleta. So sabi niya, yes. So naka-embake na. And then, I'm just very lucky na yung political arc ko, they became my second family. And at the same time, na-appreciate ko pa rin mom ko kasi when I opened a suitcase, may passport naman sa loob. So, ano lang siya, she still doesn't want me to perish. So, binalayan nila ako for 1 month and then I think she has a spy. When I won the election, bigla lang siya nag-text, wait ka na. So, I know, 1 month lang nila ako hindi pinansin. And I'm very grateful as well kasi my dad would secretly text me asking, may kailangan ka sa bahay, yung mga gusto mo ipadala ko without my mom talking. So, it was, I think, some of us can relate with Asian parents like that. They're not really malambing. I seldom hear the words, I love you, or get a hug from my mom, but I can feel the drop ng pagmamahal niya sa akin. So it's like her love language is acts of service. So that's what I went through during college, and then post-college. Oh, okay. So I also had my partner here, but I really take a big pop up at Mr. China now. I had my existential crisis. So this was the time that medyo pinagsisihan ko bakit hindi ako naging practical. So I was thinking, sana kung alien pa lang ako, I applied for a job. I would have had a bigger salary by now kasi maliit na sweldo ng engineer in the Philippines. And ironic as it may seem, coming from being very particular sa academics, I keep saying now na ay, hindi pala yung importante lahat ng medals. Ngayon nasasandubag lahat ng medals ko kasi wala ng space. So, lahat ng certificates, ng awards, I keep them, but at the end of the day, I realize it's your resourcefulness and earning capacity that matters the most when you enter the real world. And then, I also realized after college, no, na in school, I think it's not just the exams or yung mga books na natutunan nyo, but it's also about the connections, yung friends, yung experience that you gather along the way. They're all part of your education and growth as well. So, during this time, hindi po na ako nag-board exam as an engineer. So, I tried stepping out of my comfort zone. And this is, I think, the most that I've stepped out of my comfort zone if you know my personality because hindi talaga ako feminine. So, I joined pageant. Cringe. Okay, so anyway, but if you ask me right now, I wouldn't regret it because I also learned a lot from this. So it was really hard because when you join this industry around, you will always feel insecure. I felt that. And then marami kang maririnig na, ay, kulang ganito, kulang, kailangan mo ito i-enhance, kailangan mo i-improve. But luckily, my mom, Mageti, my manager, she always told me na, cliche ba siya pakinggan, but that you're always beautiful in our own ways. And hindi kaya titigil. Like, there will always be someone better than you. There will always be something na, ay, improve pa to. Wala kang contentment. But at the end of the day, if you put down the measuring stick, that is when you learn to value your work. So, yun, buti na lang talaga my mom is a very hands-on manager. Kaya, hindi ako madala sa peer pressure. So, it's just a phase. But I'm very thankful sa budget era ko because I learned how to care for myself. And at the same time, dahil nag-enjoy ako napasok sa fitness. So, next time. So, again, life is full of ups and downs. So, ngayon, I can say na talaga my life has been a roller coaster ride because during my quarter life crisis, I think I was about 25 years old during this time. It's been 4 years since I graduated from Ateneo. So, I was about to take my board exam. And then, the first time that I tried, hindi ako natuloy kasi there was this grabe ang peer pressure na dapat mag-top ka sa boards, maraming nag-expect. But I didn't take the boards kasi nga na-depressed. And then the second year naman, both of my parents, sabay sila nagkasakit. So my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And after her operation, siguro 5 days, we got home. We found out na dad ko naman itong na-slide sa CR. So he was there for 48 hours. Hindi siya nakakalaw kasi he was already suffering from Parkinson's for 11 years. So right after we got home, si dad naman natin sa hospital. So I think it was the most difficult part of my life kasi kung pwede lang nakikin ko katawan ko, it was only the 3 of us and I have to take care of all of them. And I think it's the most difficult decision kasi malala na ang case nilang dalawa. So I was praying kay Lord noon na wag lang silang sabay kunin. So it's a very hard prayer but I think it was my last resort na please save one of them. Hindi pwede lang sabay dalawa. So one day we just got a call from the doctor na my dad passed away. And then, nag-timing pa na yung burial is again on the day of my board exam. So, hindi na naman ako natuloy, syempre. So, the third time that I tried to take our boards again, ano na talaga, parang sawa-sawa na ako mag-review, guys. So, pagkasa ko malaw, what is the square root of, alam ko na letters yung ako, memorize ko na ang SRAM. So, that is how fed up I was with our review. So, when I look into Cartock boards for the third time, I took Cartock boards for the third time, so okay na, parang confident na ako mag-work sa, may chance to na makatap. So, yun naman, bigla ka na pandemic. So, I was so frustrated, grabe na June. Then, who would have thought na mag-pandemic sa lifetime natin? So, it's really frustrating. But then again, I saw this as a challenge, no? Kasi yung sabi nila, when you want something so bad, and then it took you so long, or it took you so many steps and challenges to get to that possible feeling when you achieve that goal. So, at last, at 2023 namin ng boards, I was able to get my engineering and electronics technician license, and I was able to speak during our convocation. So, next time. Present era natin. So, right now, even though yung mga licenses na nakuha ko from our board sa extra government IDs na lang sila, I was able to apply my course. But at least, there's no regrets with my future. So, I'm happily running my own business. And it wasn't easy at first as well. So, it's a one-man team. I run my own helicopter business. I had to drive out of the reporter, doing accounting and getting suppliers. But worth it naman ako. And at the same time, I think ito yung silver lining ng pandemic. Because over the pandemic, I will be able to discover my business right now. And I still get to work one time. Plus, at the same time, I still get to enjoy my CrossFit or chiropractic. And, so, if you ask me, what the English next time? Next. Oh. So you ask me, even if you ask my peers and teachers from way back, I think some of them are here today. Yeah. Some of them are here today. So my teacher and classmates from Agorishan, I mean, lahat siguro sa kanya na makakakala na I will walk the stage and chase after them who will really share. So the transition from one era of my life to another is crazy. So actually, nung nag-budget ako, I found out that it wasn't for me. Because yung manager ko, he keeps telling me, bakit ka parang lalaki magpagkat? Kulang sa parang lalaki mag-better, kulang sa lalaki. So parang, I keep telling the manager, it's not me, like, I can't do this. So I'm tired. So that's when I found out, ito wala ang sa akin. It's not actually violent. I shifted to sports. And then, before, I always thought I just wanted to during my graduate days. But then, when I realized bakit I to be strong, parang mas masaya ako. Now, I can think whatever I wanted. To start, I don't have to diet. Then, it wasn't easy coming from a very conservative Chinese family. I think those who know my parents, especially my mom, alam na rapidly conservative. So, my mom was against pregnancy kasi nga parang medyo siya severity. And now she's also against sports kasi sabi niya, how you take, ang CrossFit, ang chiro. She keeps saying yung mga lalaki yan, dapat pilates alam or yoga. But unfortunately, I keep telling her, you know, Pilates princess mom, your daughter is not your friend. I know you're not, but I'm not telling you. So, I keep telling her that we're now in a new generation. We're now in a world na hindi na nakakailan ang kailangan ng mga babae. So, during my elementary and high school days, actually, next slide. During my elementary and high school days, you don't have to believe it. Pag may new sport kami sa Pilipino, I was always asked to relate. So, kasi ako yung nasa Pilipino, and then sasabihan ako na, ay, kapasiyan, maraming tayo, kapit natin si Lilian. So, masakit siya at first, but then, went on, and look my love, I need to work on those businesses. And what's nice about our lives in the club is that we can have limited price. So, so the lessons actually that I learned along the way, I didn't put it in March. So I think yung break ko from elementary high school, and then my lessons I learned from faculty, and then pa rin naman. But now, from what I'm doing in high school. So the point is now, each one of us has a capability in something. Dati parang ito pa rin because this person has blue cheese, or it is blessed with this and that, kaya kaya niya. But in reality, I think that's not true. Because that tayo, pwede naman tayo mag-excel in something if you work hard and find to do it. So it's really hard at first, but that's the hidden value of hard time. I think we have the same goal in terms of the talent road, that we have to go through what we go through. Because even though 1% and realize ito ang most tips that we go to is still often lead to be the smart to our lives as long as we're consistent. So I want to end my speech by showing you a glimpse of what I do in my daily life as an athlete. So next time, yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think I will do that. Next, go through what you're going through. And that's it, everyone. Thank you.
To be honest, I'm not supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be here. That was the thought running through my mind when I joined Mr. Chinatown as a candidate, as a wild card candidate. Yes, I entered the competition late. Everyone else had started their journey, and I wasn't one of the original candidates. I had less time to prepare, fewer opportunities to prove myself, and at times I felt like an outsider. I entered the competition as someone who wasn't expected to win. And looking back, I realized that being a wild card wasn't just how I entered the competition. It became a reflection of what it means to be a modern athlete. Today, many of us don't fit into a single mold. Some of us speak Hokkien or Mandarin fluently. Some of us don't. Some grew up immersed in Chinese traditions. Others are still discovering them. Some will continue to family businesses, while others will pursue completely different paths. We may all begin from different places, but that doesn't make us any less than one. Being a modern Lanam means understanding that our identity isn't defined by how closely we fit to a stereotype. It's defined by the values we carry, the heritage we honor, and the impact we choose to make. Just like a wild card, we may not follow the expected path, but we still have the power to redefine the story. Maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. Hello everyone, po ako. My name is Tyrone Tan. I am your Mr. China Philippines. And it's my pleasure to be standing and speaking in front of this new faces of Lanam crowd. In Mandarin, both of things are siyaman. And in Hokkien, my name is Tan So. And I am the current Mr. Chinatown. I'm also an actor in GMA. And on top of those two, I am also a real estate consultant. You see, I wear a lot of hats, and I enjoy trying new things. And this is why I'm in front of you. Public speaking is something different for me, but here I am, stepping out of my comfort zone and facing my fears. So, today we will be talking about what makes a modern Lanam. What does it mean to be a Lanam? Or what does Lanam mean to you? And someone give me an answer. And what pops up in your head or in your mind if you hear the word Lanam? I have a speaker here. Anyone? Any random thought you hear the word Lanam? What pops up in your mind? Community. Other answers? Society. So, okay. For me, being a Lanam is a person who rises through adversity. Each Lanam I know has gone through a tough moment once in their life which creates their beautiful story worth sharing. Yes, please. And that's why I want to introduce my mantra in life to you. 千一世, stop 一世. In Chinese, it's 千一世, 传一世. 千 means to go through. 一世 is one moment, go through or experience one moment. 像一世 is gain, knowledge or wisdom. Or in English, I like to short it into we grow through what we go through. So every or any experience in life, good or bad, there is a lesson to it, and we will learn something from it. So next please. Next slide. Please. So as a modern Lanam myself, I would like to share that being an Lanam is not only just about learning the culture. I would say I don't live in a traditional Chinese household anymore. Not learning the language also is not that. I'm not a fluent speaker of Hokkien or Mandarin or visiting China. I've only been to China twice in my life. But being a modern Lanam is next slide please. It's who we choose to become. Being a modern Lanam is to chase our dreams. Being a modern Lanam is to face our fears. Being a modern Lanam is to fight for what we want. And being a modern Lanam is to choose who we want to become. How can I say that I am a modern Lanam? Well, you don't see a lot of Chinese joining a pageant, don't you? So for me, joining a pageant and entering the entertainment industry is not the usual path for any Chinese person. Well, if I were to take the path that my parents wanted for me, I would have been at corporate office sitting down counting numbers all day, rather than be in front of you. Or maybe I would be helping my dad in the family business. But I chose to chase what I want. I chose to face my fears. And I chose to believe in my dream and who I want to become. Because being a modern Lanam isn't about fitting into someone else's expectations. It's about honoring where we it's about honoring where we came from while both shaping where we're going. With that, I would like to share 3 practice principles that I believe was used 100 years back by our ancestors and will also be used 100 years forward to the next generation. That help me shape the modern Lanam I am today. So next slide please. Number 1, consistency. Talent gets attention, but consistency earns respect. During my Chinatown days, I may not have the best volume, I may not be the most fluent speaker, but I would say I was the most consistent. In everything we do pre-pageant until the pageant days, I was there to show up. I was there to, show my dedication for what I want. Because being consistent shows that you are very dedicated when you really want what you do. So, being consistent is to show up your family, show up your community, show up work, show up your faith. So that's number 1, being consistent. Number 2, next slide please, is trust. Our greatest currency as Chinese, as Lanam, is trust. Who are your businessmen, women? Who's not business here? See it? Would you say that kailangan mo muna makuha yung trust ng a business transaction mo bago kayo makapag-transact? Would it be easier to transact if you trust the other person? I would would say yes, especially to us Chinese. Trust is our greatest currency. You keep your word, you protect your name, and you build relationships with trust. Next slide, please. Principle number 3 is discipline. Choose what you want most over what you want now. Sometimes it's so easy to be distracted what we want in our current daily lives, and we forget to focus on what we aspire to. So I want to instill a disciplined mindset. Bro, I got this mindset from being an athlete when I was younger. So you have to, be very disciplined that you focus on what you really want to do in life. Discipline creates freedom and lasting success. So 3 principles that I share today is C, consistency, trust, and discipline. CTP. Chinese, Taoke, Gagawin. CTP. And I just want to add another one. Ngayon ko siya nag-isip is number 4, gratitude. You always have to be thankful. You have to always give thanks. The more you are thankful, the more life will give you more blessings. So with that, I would like to thank Anna Martels for creating this symposium, giving me this podium that can share my story with you. Because I started this journey believing that I wasn't supposed to be here. And today, the more you are thankful that maybe being a modern landlord isn't about being where people expect you to be. It's about having the courage to exactly be where you're meant to be. Again, my message I wrote back, please thank you everyone.
So thank you, Len, and thank you, Tyro, for sharing your stories and experiences. It's so refreshing to see that we can see from here how different our experiences are growing up. So we are now opening the floor for a Q&A. Coming from the audience muna, like anything that you'd like to ask Tyro or Len about their stories, like about their relationship with their dad and being for their moments growing up, how they were, yung mga opinions na gusto niyo malaman from them, please approach the mic and feel free to ask them questions po. Thank you!
Questions anyone for our guests? Anything fun they might ask? I'm curious.
Hello, good to be here today. Let's do a bunch of
Dear, can you please stand up so that we can see you from here? There's already a stage there.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, KKB. My question is, what kind of moment that you think or feel that you were what kind of moment that you feel you were
What situations do you think would more than that? More than that?
I think for me, no, in the situations na medyo ipit ako, yung na hard times, doon lumalabas yung pagkalanhan ko. Kasi I see it from my mom as well. She's a very strong woman. parang sinasabi ng parents natin sa ating mga pinagdadaanan nila before. That's why, like, example, magreklamo ka, mag-cheat ka sa school. Sabi ng parents ko sa akin, ay, kami nag-cross pa kami ng ilog para mag-school. So, I think that's where my Chinese-ness or Landangness comes out. Yung during the hard time, and you have to persevere. Yung hindi pa dito, kahit sa pinipin ko ngayon, I'm very inspired ng kasi usually in China things na boom. So, bata pa lang, pray na sila. And I have tried that not just inspire their even daily life.
For me, one situation makes me feel that is when I do business with people. Like my principle number earlier, what are the principles that we should trust? And for me, it's hard really to trust, especially in business. So, kumbaga ako, as Lanang, I have to know who I transact with talaga. So that I can trust him, to trust you. And one lighter note, joining. Hello. One lighter note, joining China made me feel very I'm like very connected. I felt connected with the culture. Going to China as well. Recently, I was in China, so it's fun that I get to connect with the culture and our heritage there in China.
So we would like to ask our members of the audience to raise their questions. Yes, Achimea.
And I'm going to ask the opposite of what he asked. Are there instances when you feel like being Lanang is negative? And how do you handle?
Parang very predictable question. So, ito yung mga-instances na ito. Hindi naman sa negative siya. Pero it's kind of hard for me kasi, example, meron, siyempre, especially during college, majority is mga kuanda na yung classmates. Marami sa kanila is natatakot manligaw kasi alam nila may ritual of China. So, therefore, hindi naman siya negative, but the way I handle myself then, hindi naman lahat ng na racist, mga culture. Pero hindi lahat ng land sabi ko, especially the generation right now, we are very open. And I think that is it. Not all Chinese are good as learners, and not all Filipino are bad. So sabi ko, wala yan sa race, sa tao naman yan, how you perceive them.
How am I? Well, ako kasi, I grew up with a very conservative household. So I'm very shy. I was shy boy. Binala. Pero, I recall my first few months in GMA, we had an event wherein we have to PR, we have personal relation with brands, with marketing partners. And I completely recall that day because I was very lost. So I didn't know how to approach people. I didn't know how to introduce myself well. I didn't know how to connect brand partners. So I felt very lost. So it was one of the incidents when I'm going to
So, questions naman po from the actor group, please. Anyone? Ayan, we have a question from somewhere at the back.
Kasi tapos siya kaya, people ng mga are used to put the flow for very class. And sometimes those who know expect the racist, you make it up. We do that. And myself, the understand is really when we do make that, does it understand you as a people or
the question properly here.
Racism jokes. Good or bad? Desire racist jokes. Kaya kung dahil.
Maybe you can explain what he's trying to say. Is because beside people have a good sense of humor. So if they have racist jokes, does it translate as good or bad?
Okay. For me, ako kasi hindi ako magaling mag-open. A lot of time, especially from college, after college, usually mga friends ko, marami is Filipino. So they usually have fly racist close to me. Pero sa akin naman, hindi ako na-open kasi nagkatawa ako sa kanila. But at the same time, doon ko rin example, may road trip kayo. Tapos, hindi ka mabuya, hindi ka mahalit sa Chinese. Kaya magaling lang mina sa pera. So, hindi naman siya ako. It depends on the person, but for me, I don't see it in a bad way. Pero yung kakay ka, and for example, minsan, din ako ng Marvel. Kaya sila in front of me, kasi so, it depends how you take it. I don't get offended kasi alam ko kasi yung week naman. And as long as wala sila pinadalong sa akin, it's just a way of like, keeping this type, especially mga medyo serious na bagay. So, it's not a bad thing for me.
For me, racist jokes, depends siguro kung sila nag-joke or kayo may joke kasi some people can really handle them as well. Kaya ako, medyo pwede mo na rin talaga sa mga so okay lang. Kasi ako, Jerry, I receive jokes na, hey, change niya, kaya nga yan. Oh, preview yan for me, diba? Yeah, so, okay lang for me, jokes.
So maybe we can welcome two more questions from the front side of the room naman. From here po, is there anyone who would like to ask questions to Tyrone and Gilbert? If wala po sa left side o sa right side naman, okay, there's someone there who would like to ask.
If you could correct one misconception about Anna in the Philippines, what would that be? If you could correct one misconception about Anna in the Philippines, what would that be? Thank you.
I think, what is the I would correct mo? I mean, I know what you're doing my value, but unfortunately, sa akin sa minority, so always sinasabi ng mga fans nyo, ay, literally rin, kasi Chinese, mayaman. So sabi ko, mukha nang mayaman, pero ito mayaman. So, not all Chinese are rich as well. Like, some of them have yung standing din. So I think, dapat hindi pwede kita ang mga tao kanyang bakita. Because yung more like sa ating mayaman na natin, also came from very humble group. Wala po pinagkirapan nila ng mga ancestors nila or ng mga parents nila. So we should not take advantage ng partisan na even if tayo bakas or sana sa maging bakas. I think that is one of the misconceptions hopefully ma-change sa society natin.
For me, siguro one misconception that I get or what I hear is that Chinese, we get what we want easily. And I don't believe in that because, like what I said, all of us, we work hard for what we want. I've seen a lot of Chinese people really working hard, juggling different types of jobs. Sabay-sabay, just to, pakainin yung pamilya nila, pabuhay yung mapaalan yung pamilya nila. Kaya nga gusto sa ating mga Chinese yung mga may partners sa pamalang bahay, gusto nasa tayo talaga. Kumilig ka, and that translates the principles that I shared today. we are consistent with what we do. We build trust through who we talk to in our relationships. And we are disciplined. That's why we get what we want easily.
So, any more questions from the audience?
I'll take the last question. Given that you're in an industry that is dominated by a lot of non-landmarks, how do you navigate as a landmark? Especially when, for example, beauty standards are kind of preferred for, let's say, mestizo looking people or some sort, or for example, we don't usually take the usual the landmark. We took a very early amount of time. So how do you navigate a landmark in a very dominated non-landmark industry?
I'll try to answer it, but I didn't really get a question from it.
Okay, basically, how are you navigating a very dominated non-landmark industry as a landmark?
Siguro, for me, just being true to myself, and I know my doctrines with who I am, with the values that I uphold, with the principles that I have, and yeah, just basically really knowing myself fully and truly sticking to my values and principles that I have.
I think I want to let out now in our industry, not just career, engineering, I think all of the first started, and even now the field of sports. So say, we both stick together, we went to class together, but outside of that, we let each other's future naman. And they don't have to get your future on me and vice versa. So just be true to yourself. After nakilito ng parents ko, so that's what I still believe in. So, most of the time mahirap kasi sometimes you get peer pressure, but the important is where I have to always remember the body in an individual. It won't get carried away by your fear.
So, sige, I have a few questions I can ask to both of you. No? So, here, maybe let's pick one of the more significant ones in that. So, like Lily Beth mentioned earlier na our elders are not that expressive when it comes to showing affection, and we don't even say I love you with our fantasy often. Do you think as Dana, things have changed? Why or why not?
My personal opinion, dati nakakata ako, I wouldn't want to change kasi ako hindi din yung kalaging ng transport. So whenever my dad is scheduled on me, whenever he tries to call me for mag-kiss siya sa mga inilip ko, nagagalit ako. But then, yun nga, yun na ng times, and I realized na the first time I had to joke with it na my mom coffee. Pero it feels good pala. It also helps when you're sad, it's a long export. Kasi it doesn't make you less stronger. It always I feel wrong ako. Sometimes it will make you break down. It will make you show your weakness. So, you're a learner people. And yun ang partial importance namin kasi pareho kayo kung sino yung mom ko na parang hindi ko lang pareho kayo kaasa ng life. So you will be able to communicate well in your problems with your parents and your children. Right?
Ako paligid naman. I grew up with my mama, and she's very lovely, she's lovely, who took care of me well. And naniniwala ako na also in this generation, medyo mas affectionate na yung mga younger generation yan. So I believe na it's nice that our elders would be more affectionate to the younger generation. Kasi yun nga, medyo mas emotional na sila. they'll be needing more support system, I would say. So,
Kasi napapansin natin sa ngayon no, na issues on mental health have been becoming very relevant to the point that schools are implementing mental health weeks already. No? So, aside from that question earlier, we have all gone through having to listen to what our parents or elders want for us to pursue because they think that is not the best for us. And also, we are having our own minds, we're thinking about our passions we would like to do. So have you felt more in deciding what you really want for yourself in life? Like, do you follow or do you stand up for your own? Okay, good.
So I guess I think it's better depends on the situation. Kasi syempre, not ako, very, very free-spirited. So, parang very and then as you grow older, I realize that sometimes you have to be practical. Not everyone is given financial resources to follow their passion. So what if your passion mo is no early? So also you have to balance. So right now, I can say that you are your passion. Hindi naman sa passion mo, but give me enough resources to do what I love, which is uniform. So when we have that government in my ear, then I don't have the resources or the time to do what I love. So balance siya. Hindi siya na-decide ang change after yung other na but you find ways on how to afford what you love to do.
It's basically gathering and risk. Sige, kung lang tayo rin, hindi na masaya pa.
also, I grew up being shaped to help my dad in business. So, during the past pandemic, dun palang growing yung love for trying to enter the entertainment industry to be an actor. And I would say that opportunities weren't enough. I didn't get too much opportunities up until last year lang. So between 2021 to 2025, it's been a tough time for me. And yeah, my family would always say, just help the business. Although I do, but I know deep inside my heart kasi na I really want something else. So not until I took up the courage to have the confidence to really chase what I want, chase my dream, and believe in myself that I can achieve that dream.
So, start out to the last question now. So, what made you choose your platform to get your voices heard or yung mga gusto nyo ipaglaban as a nanang, no? Kasi the expectation comes kasi na as nanangs, we have to stay humble, stay low-key, like confined in our own bubbles. Pero, what made you decide to, make your voices heard? No? And in choosing your platforms, what was your thought process behind that?
I was blessed to have the opportunity to join Mr. Chinatown since I was an earlier house of Blackbird. So it gave me the platform to, share me and share our culture, share Hawaiian. And it made me really dive into our culture, know myself more, being Chinoy. And honestly, content creation is very wide right now. And I see a lot of Chinese people, Chinoys, content creating, and it inspired me. Kasi that day, I don't see anyone speaking Chinese in front of the camera. Like, no one would do that. Like, mahiya sila siguro or makapagtawanan sila naman daw. But a lot of people respect that already. And a lot of people are learning from us. So to see that many people are learning from us Chinese, they enjoy our language, they enjoy our culture, that makes me proud to be a Chinese. And that makes me want to voice out more, share my story more to other people. To new faces, you guys.
No,
from sa akin naman, it's not a formal kasi since hindi naman ako I'm not currently sa platform or sa stage ng pageantry, but I think always ko bino-voice out na yun sa aking mga content, sa aking mga bino-post online is yun na, before kasi traditional Chinese is that mga women support lang talaga sa men. That's what my mom believes in kasi also because of our age gap, so siguro 40 years kasi kami apart ng mom ko. So always kasi nasabi, huwag kang masyadong dominant Dayan, she calls me Dayan. So huwag kang masyadong dominant kung tatakot ang lalaki sa'yo, so hindi ka makakasawa niyan kung sobrang kung lahat pinaako mo. But I keep reminding her na ang generation na yun, dapat tulungan na kayo. Kung pwede, dalawa kayong dominar, dalawa kayong malakas, o dalawa kayong magaling, the better. Because that way, mas madali nyo rin mag-build yung family niyo. So I always live by this mantra na always ko rin sinasabi sa mga kasama ko sa gym, na hindi porket lalaki, mag-excuse nila, ay lalaki siya, so dapat mas marami siya reps, or mas malakas siya. So I always live by yung mantra na whatever the boys are doing, the so kung kaya nilang tumakbo ng 10 kilometers, tumakbo ba ng 15? So it's not, wala nang gender inequality dapat. So yun nga, if your husband is good at earning, tulungan mo pa rin siya, hindi umaasa ka na lang, sa bahay ka na lang. So I think that's what's good to change sa mindset ng mga nana.
So, lastly, if you were to give advice to someone who is just rediscovering their land or heritage through unconventional forms, no, what would you tell them and why? So again, no, if you were to give advice to someone who is just rediscovering their land or heritage through unconventional forms, what would you tell them and why?
I would say that it's never too late. And I would like to use my partner, Miss Chinatown, as an example. She is just now really discovering the Chinese culture, the heritage. She didn't grow up. I think she grew up elementary ng Chinese school, and then she went to a Filipino school already, high school and college. But look at her now, she's Miss Chinatown. And even though that she didn't grow up learning the culture, it's never too late. Now she's learning the culture, like trying and thriving to learn. And she's enjoying it. So yeah, it's never too late to learn anything. Not only our culture, but anything, it's never too late.
Aside this, what Taiwan mentioned, I think aside from agreeing to that, even yung mga Chinese na, like for example, ako, throughout my college years, after I graduated, I think medyo nakalimutan ko yung pagiging tanto because of course sa college, Bisaya na almost all of your classmates are not and even after college. So I'm really happy na nag-invite dito si Lord because I realized that it's good to be Chinese again. So it's been a while since I practiced my Chinese rules, and then when Lord invited me and my mom, she's very happy kasi nga parang ang tagal na namin hindi ganda ng buhay sa bahay. So she's like, from now on, you speak to me in Chinese at home and I won't answer is Tagalog or Bisaya. So, din siya, masarap siyang balik-balikan. So aside from those, nakaka-discover pa lang din. Yung sa mga nagbabalik daw din, it's not too late because there's nothing wrong in being Chinese. Yun na, pag in-stereotype tayo na I don't think it's something to be ashamed of because we should be true to our roots and isa yun sa mga strengths natin na taken us.
Yeah. So that's it for our panel for this afternoon. Now let's give Deng and Cairo a big round of applause.